right, sound check time. 1 2 1 2. This is Steve's mic. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 1 2. Good afternoon. Hello and welcome. This is Paisley Park. It's Saturday afternoon. It's 15 degrees in Altona North. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 1 2. Crowd still coming through the gates here. Healthy contingent in red and black coming through to support Altona Magic. And those in red and yellow here to support the Lions. Coming all the way from Reservoir this afternoon, Preston Lions. You can see the Altona Lakes Golf Course to our left. Railway Yards to our right. Looks a picture of the city in the distance. Well, reunited together in Victoria's top flight for the first time in a decade and a half. Up the table, 3 wins on the bounce. Meanwhile, Louis Aseski's Lions have established themselves in the top 6, and if they can make it a double over the Magic by winning today, it will go a long way towards reaching what would be a great achievement for the newly promoted side this year. Hello and welcome to Paisley Park, coming to you live on the NPL Victoria live stream, Saturday afternoon football in round 16 of the competition. My name is Steve Curtin, and looking forward to bringing you all the action, and as the players and referees pose for a nice photo opportunity. Stefan Negro and John Stojcevski. Max Hanlon, the man in the middle tonight. Both sets of players really charged up for this one. Let's have a look at the team news. And for the Altona Magic side, there's 2 changes. Bilal Habib misses out with suspension after being sent off, a second yellow card for re-entering the field of play after being injured, slipping in the gutter at Churchill Reserve in the win against St Albans last week. One of the more obscure sendings off we've seen in NPL Victoria. He misses this one through suspension, which he'll be frustrated for. He provided the assist to the goal in that particular fixture for Anthony Frangi. An eventful day for him, but he misses out today. Coming in to replace him is Salu Kamara, and John Stojcevski comes in to replace Connor O'Keefe. So it sees them lining up on this hot streak that they're in. Shalamanov, Trenkov in goal. The back 4 is Hiyori Kawaguchi. In central defence, Tofik Olamawewe, Dejan Bakarandowski, John Stojcevski has tipped to start at left back. In midfield, it's Al Hawley, Mukachar, Kamara. Alex Gustas moved up to the left flank. Dan Fabrizio on the right. And in red-hot form is Anthony Francis, who will pause now for that moment's silence here as we remember Vlado Petrovski. And that was indeed a very impeccably observed moment silence here to remember of Preston Lions fame, Vlado Petrovski, a keen fan of the Preston Lions, Macedonian heritage and culture and football, and it's only appropriate that he's honoured today, and our condolences to the friends and family of the late Vlado Petrovski, and will be the Altona Magic kicking us off. Just a quick look at that Preston Lions team. There's one change to the side that drew 1-1 with an in-form Dandenong City last week, and it's Jonas Markoski called into the starting 11 to replace Giorgio Serdenis. Jonas, of course, 19 goals here with the Altona Magic 2 seasons ago. Can he come back to haunt his former employer? Otherwise, there's no change for Louis Jaseski, with Trenkowski continuing in goal, the young goalkeeper. The captain, Stefan Nigro, in defence is joined by Matt Bozanowski, Jake Trenkowski and Adrian Valenti. In front of them is Brandon Launton and Oliver Kubele. Jason Romero in red-hot goal-scoring form. In the number 10 role, Leighton Brooks and Connor Bell on the flanks. And as we mentioned, the player coming into the team, Jonas Markoski, a very big headline selection in the starting 11 for Louis Jaseski this afternoon. That means this afternoon there's room on the bench for Goran Lozanowski's Altona Magic, for Connor O'Keefe, Gavin Tasevsky, Julian Rodriguez, George Sitsanaris. The sub-keeper is Troy Bigno, and the youngster Jared Bozanov gets a spot on the bench, while for the Lions, space on the bench today for Aaron Anderson, Giorgio Serdenis, Marcus Strone. The sub-keeper is Jacob Ognanowski, also Gian Albano and Sammy Dibb. So plenty of talent for both sides to call upon when needed later on in the match. And Altona Magic, they are in red hot form, and this man Frangi has just been dispossessed, but he is one to watch this afternoon. If you haven't had a good look at the Altona Magic side in recent weeks, he had a stint on the sidelines earlier in the year, but he's been in red hot scoring form. He's been in the mood. He got himself on the score sheet in that all Western Suburbs fixture last Sunday afternoon. So a shorter turnaround for the Magic, just the 6-day break. And it's Kawaguchi looking to get forward here from right back, a player who's been very prominent this season, featuring in all 15 games so far for the Magic, and more minutes than any other player as well for Goran Lozanowski's side. And it's going to be him to take the corner kick here, and the first set piece of the afternoon. And it's Altona Magic. They got the breeze behind them in this first half, kicking towards the Altona Lakes Golf Course and the northern end of the venue here. Thank you for your company on the stream as Kawaguchi delivers the corner kick. It's into the back post. Oh, Fabrizio might have had his shirt tugged there. And there was a bit of toing and froing just by the penalty spot. And Max Hanlon is ordering a retake of that particular set piece. So it'll be a second chance here for Kawaguchi. It was a well-delivered ball into the box. But it was just a rehearsal for what could be the main event here. Kawaguchi waiting the whistle of referee Max Hanlon. Driven in again, plenty of purchase on it. It's away by that Preston defence. Giving chase here is Jonas Markoski. What sort of reception he will get from the Altona fans today. I have such good memories of him spurring on the Magicians into the finals in 2023. It looked so unlikely with his old man as the coach at the time. Looking to play forward there was Adrian Valenti, the left back. One of the more diminutive figures out there. And a man who's not so diminutive, Ilya Shalamanov-Trenkov, 195 centimetres for the Brisbane-born goalkeeper. Experience in Bulgaria, and he's displaced Christian Rossi in the team. That's coincided with the run of form, so he's kept some clean sheets. Another clean sheet last week against the St Albans side. Here's Gust, who's playing in the advanced role today. Opportunity here for Kamara with the back heel. Stoicheski, another player back into the starting 11. He hangs the cross in, and it stayed in play, and it's well taken by the young goalkeeper in Trenkowski with the cap on there to shield his eyes from the sun. NPL Victoria Saturday afternoon football. There was a bunch of goals last night in the 4 games that took place. 17 balls flying into the back of the net. 2 red cards as well. Plenty of late drama and plenty of excitement, and, well, hoping we'll see the same here this afternoon. Another match going on in Melbourne's inner north this afternoon. It's Avondale hosting the Melbourne Knights. We'll keep you across the scoreline there from Avenger Park as these 2 matches with a simultaneous kick-off time. Kawaguchi all the way back to Shalamanov-Trinkov. This is Dejan Bakar-Danikovsky on the left side of the central defensive role. Surging forward, you can see the white tape on the wrists and the white boots. Looking like a Rolls Royce bringing the ball out of central defence was Dejan Bakar-Danikovsky. Been a really good pickup for the Magic during the off-season. This is Mukasha, another player who's been excellent so far this season as well, particularly in recent weeks. Him and Al Hawley forming a really good partnership in the centre of the park. They're really missing that spark of Bilal Habib, though, as we said in the lead up to the game. Sent off last week, so he has the mandatory suspension this week. 2 yellow cards in bizarre circumstances. One for his involvement in a scuffle just before half-time, and one for re-entering the field of play after being injured without permission from the referee. Oh, a good pocket of space here for Al Hawley in between the lines, trying to pick apart this Preston defence. This is Kamara. Kawaguchi getting forward from right back time and time again onto his non-preferred left, floats it in. That's Gust's header. It's just past the post. So Alex Gust, who's been a really good left-back specialist so far this season for the Magic, he's had to do a little bit of a job share function with John Stoichevski, who is the incumbent, the experienced figurehead in that position. Stoichevski's also lined up on the left-hand side of the central defence, and then Stoichevski coming off the bench last week at Churchill Reserve, and Gust getting the opportunity to play a little further up the field, and that's where he starts this afternoon. Frangi trying to get on the ball. Anthony Frangi draws a crowd of white shirts. Preston looking splendid in the all-white kit this afternoon. Kamara's ball into the corner. It's too hot to handle, and Kawaguchi, with all of his pace, will never be able to chase down that one. So it's been a really good start here for the Magic. The breeze behind their back in the first half. Saturday afternoon football on the NPL Victoria live stream. Steve Curtin with you from Paisley Park. Oscar behind the camera for Sportscast Australia here on the tower and enjoying the sunshine. This match brought forward by 3 hours. The original kickoff time was to be 6:15, but both clubs agreed that it made more sense to kick this game off and have it as a standalone kickoff time, not overlapping with the A-League Men's Grand Final tonight on this real football festival weekend. UEFA Champions League tomorrow morning as well, of course, so plenty of showpiece games this afternoon, and this is right up there with any of them. And here's Oliver Kubalay as he slices this one out of play. Well, that wasn't the showpiece delivery up the park from NPL Victoria champion with the Oakley Cannons last year. Here's Stefan Negro. Saw him getting some treatment on the massage table outside the rooms before the game, making special mention of him having been sitting on 4 yellow cards for a long time and trying to avoid that 1-week holiday that would ensue if he picked up a 5th one today. Bakar-Danikovsky hits it up the line. Players shielding their eyes from the sun. Forward by Negro. Good first touch by Gust and a decent second. Competing for it with Lawton. Markowski was met with some solid contact as he went to ground. Kubalay winning the ball back. It's a real stoush in the middle of the park here. Fans still coming through the gates, a really healthy crowd. Before kickoff, we had some traditional Macedonian dancing taking place. A real celebration of all things that are great about the Macedonian culture, cuisine, food and drink, football, dancing. Really good festivity feel, festival feel this afternoon, and a good crowd in for NPL Victoria round 16. The season is flying by, just 10 games to go for these sides before things will head into finals football after that. Preston Lions certainly hoping they'll be there. This ball's going to hang in the air, and it's a good take by Trenkowski coming out to take it on the chest. Player who was blooded at this level with Hume City a couple of years ago as a 17-year-old. And here he is on the ball here, looking to try and get something going for the Preston Lions, who haven't really been able to get out of their own half so far. Sends it up the line, slips as he takes the kick. Bakar-Danikovsky's going to send it to Al Hawley. Mukhtar let it run for Gust. This is Fabrizio, who's drifted across to the left wing now. He started on the right. Brooks. Ball into the channel for Markowski, who's flagged for offside. Our assistant referees today, Thomas Rushton and Jackson Trundle. James Langloyer, our fourth official, patrolling the space between the two technical areas. Hasn't got too willing down there between the two sets of club officials just yet. Can't guarantee that it will stay that way for the full 90. Wasn't too much between these sides last time they met. Leighton Brooks scoring on 41 minutes just before halftime. Giorgio Sedenis was sent off in the second half for a high boot on John Stoicheski. Preston having to bunker down and hang on with the 10 men in that fixture. And it's the confidence you can see flowing through the veins of these Magic players. Admittedly, missing the likes of Bilal Habib. All action number 10 this afternoon. It's a little bit of a loss, but you can see why they're the form team. 3 wins on the bounce and looking to make it 4 today. And here's Anthony Frangi running at Stefan Negro, gets to the byline and cuts it back to the top of the box. It was well away by Lawton. As the drums kick in here at Paisley Park. Lucas Shah under pressure from Markowski. His pass was wayward, and it's picked up by Louis Aseski over on the sidelines. Chance for Preston to try and get the ball up the park. The Metro train towards the city from Werribee, rattles back in towards the CBD. It's Altona enjoying the lion's share of possession against the Lions here. Long time since their last meeting at this venue. It was back in April 2017. Altona getting the win that day, 2-1. Adamson Ajayi with the double. Josh Stadnicki on the score sheet for the Lions in that fixture. And it's a match that featured John Stoicheski and Andrea Roxandic, a couple of players still in the current frame, particularly John Stoicheski out there this afternoon for these two clubs. Fabrizio's ball down the line. And it's going to be asking too much of Al Hawley. So a little bit disjointed in the final third for this Magic side, but otherwise they're looking the better of the two as Preston are just trying to find their way into this game. Decent touch. Connor Bell's going to be flagged for offside here. Indeed he is. Good opening there it would have been for the pacey winger. One-on-one with Shalamanov Drinkov, but timing his run was not on point on that particular instance. Altona looking to get through here again. Bozanowski plays it back. It was Bozanowski who we believe scored that late equaliser for Preston last week on the Sports TG or the Game Day app. It was actually given to Jason Romero, but looked like he got the final touch. Here's a good play by Brooks into the back post. Kawaguchi was there to deny Connor Bell at the back post. Leighton Brooks, the danger man again, as he was when these sides met last time. He's had quite the season, has Leighton Brooks for the Preston Lions. 5 goals he's scored. It's making the move out from Cavalry FC in Canada. Really good pickup out there at Jenna Steele Stadium as this Preston Lions side find themselves in the top 6. And a win today, see them go 5th above Hume City. Really getting into the business end of the season, as we said. Just 10 games to go after today. Here's Alex Gust. Pressure from Lawton. Gust is forced to backtrack. Stoicheski. Brooks' ball forward. Good use of the body by Kamara. Markowski competing for it, and he too happy. In fact, it was Romero, the decision, going against Preston and taken quickly. Ball out wide. Kawaguchi out there in front of the canteen on the far side. We've got the food trucks in today. We've got the juice van. We've got the ice cream van as well. You don't think we're going to need an ice cream van on the last day of May, but well, here we are. Good weather in Melbourne. If you're watching along on TV, wish you were here, but if you're not here, the live stream certainly the best place to be to enjoy this one, as Kawaguchi looking to find space for the cross. He gets onto the left foot and floats it in. Header was by Gust. He was under close attention from Negro. So just a slight breeze, as we said, favouring the end that Altona is attacking, coming off Hobson's Bay. And it's just cooling things down a little bit. But otherwise, a picture-perfect day. The field's in pretty good nick, about as good as it gets at Paisley Park. It's the pitch with one of the higher crowns on it, of course, sloped, so the water can drain off it in the event of a heavy downpour, which we do tend to see a lot of serious rain bands coming through in Melbourne Southwest through this particular region in Altona North. Oh, that was a heavy touch by Fabrizio that really let himself down there, showing too much of the ball to Jake Trajkowski. Kamara playing as one of the double pivots there in front of the back four and allowing Al Hawley to play in a more advanced midfield role, the number 10 role, where we normally see Bilal Habib lining up. Negro dinks it forward on the left peg. Back of Danikowski. Eyes only for the ball. Picked up by Kubalay. Free kick given away there by Jason Romero. So Jason Romero credited with 17 goals. It was his free kick that appeared to be converted by Matt Boltanowski at the back post in the 88th minute last week against Dandenong City. Preston socials have given the goal to Matt Boltanowski, and the Game Day app has given it to Jason Romero, so we might have to go to the dubious goal panel for that one to review who the actual scorer was to get that one correct. It's Frangi, and was in a good position. He's picking up those spaces in the penalty area. He's a hard player to keep a handle on for central defenders at this level, and we've seen that this season from Anthony Frangi a number of times of late. 4 goals so far in NPL Victoria in his 9 appearances this season. Experience at this level. Back in Victoria. Good to have him back after a stint at Hills United in New South Wales. Al Hawley, you could see the idea there, but he couldn't quite link up the pass with Gust. Alex Gust, who's been busy playing in that advanced role, given licence to go up and play as a left winger in front of captain John Stoicheski, who's back into his left back position. His touch was too heavy. It just bobbled off the pitch and come off the shin pad there, you fancy, right in front of Goran Lozanowski and the Altona technical staff. So 0-0 here if you have just joined us. Neither side yet to fire an attempt on goal. The opening minutes of this one. We have gone 20 minutes now, so the best part of, at least, should I say, is Connor Bell is motoring down the left here, past the President's room. He loses his footing over in the far side. Kamara. Good tenacity from Bell to keep Kamara under the pump, and he wins his side a throw. It's looking quite packed there in the President's suite there as well, behind the glass. Spectators in there also shielding their eyes from the sun as this pitch here in Altona North bathed in glorious sunshine. And here's Jason Romero looking to turn and take on that Altona defence. He's forced to go back to Kubalay. Good bit of space here for Lawton. Nice work in the tight spaces there, and a call came on the way. I was able to let it run for Shalmanov Trenkov. Got the short sleeves out today, bit of a tan on the forearms almost as he sends this ball up over the halfway line. So, solid header by Boltanowski. Gust. Stoicheski having to backtrack, but he's able to pick the pass well to Mukashar. Olumawere. Danikowski looking to send it up the line on the left peg. And it's well read again by Bozanowski, who's cleaning up everything back there so far. Really good player in those aerial duels. Danikowski. Again, it's straight to Bozanowski. So, oh, and he's given it away to Frangi, who tries the snapshot from distance. Quick thinking from Anthony Frangi, trying to catch out Lucas Trenkowski in goal. Kubalay. Good first time ball from Lawton. Put a little bit of pressure on Negro, though. It bounced awkwardly in front of him, and Saad Mukashar winning the ball back. Well played Mukashar and Al Hawley, the two centre mids, both teaming up out on the left flank. In that passage of play, they're forced to go all the way back to Shalamanov Trinkov. Both Saad Mukashar and Alex Gus making the NPL Victoria Team of the Week from the Magic after their win at Churchill Reserve last Sunday. So a cagey affair so far in the opening 21 minutes at Paisley Park. Big crowd gathered in, ready to cheer in some goals when they happen. Here's Romero, doesn't mind the shoot onside policy. Oh, he's hit the upright, one of the training goals behind the fencing there, so it won't count as an attempt against the woodwork there for Jason Romero. He has had his knockers so far this season for maybe pulling the trigger a little bit too frequently. Did open up nicely there for him. The shot was slicing off the boot from the offset, though. Connor Bell giving chase. He's just getting into this game more and more, and you feel like the more that he can get on the ball, the more that this Preston side will get on the front foot. He's a barometer for the Lions, there's no doubt about that. Preston just starting to enjoy a little more possession as well. It was all Altona in the opening minutes. A lot of that possession, though, is deep in their own half, as we're seeing here. It's Valenti who's given the ball away, and Frangi tries the snapshot. Might have been going just past the upright, you fancy, and Trenkowski was spreading himself really well to get a palm on that ball and pries it into his grasp, and he's sent Preston into attack at lightning pace here. Ball just stuck under the foot there of Connor Bell, but he wins the throw right in front of the players' race on the far side. It's a huge turnout over there on the far side. You can see the bars doing a roaring trade. Selling a record amount of Kabapi rolls as well this afternoon out of the canteen as Lawton gets into the penalty area, across the face of goal. Brooks will pick up the loose ball. Looking for options. He's got Negro in support. Decides to try and find Romero. It was cut off well by Gust, who sends it up forward. There's no one there except for Bozanowski. Kubalay. Negro. Now Kubalay again. Just outside the box. Romero. Plenty of Magic players behind the ball. They're all behind the ball except for Anthony Frangi now. It's the first time we've seen them really peg back in their own half as Negro getting forward, supplies the cross. Connor Bell again lurking ominously at the back post, and Kawaguchi really needs to be on his toes to make sure that those crosses to the back post don't find Anthony Frangi. And we're going to see, well, Max Hanlon's going to be reaching into his pocket here for a yellow card. That's going to be shown to Jake Trenkowski, the central defender, who was caught in an awkward position there. Commits the professional foul and accepts the yellow card, does the 26-year-old. So the first booking of the afternoon, a match that has been played in good spirit between these two Macedonian clubs, as we said, two clubs formed by the blood, sweat and tears of the Macedonian migrants arriving in Melbourne and establishing these football clubs, and They've been pillars of strength for the community, the footballing community and the Macedonian community, in a fantastic pre-match celebration. National anthem of Macedonia and Australia performed before the game. We had one of two of Melbourne's Macedonian dance troupes performing as well. So plenty of culture for those gathered here this afternoon. Live dancing on the pitch and music as well. Plenty to enjoy to lead up to the match, and now the game just needs to deliver something here. Maybe a goal can spark this game to life, but we are 25 minutes into this one. We're still yet to see a really genuine attempt on goal. Anthony Frangi's attempt that forced a save from Lucas Trenkowski may have actually been off target as well. We'll see what the stats man awards that one as. So just a slow burn this one. Either side wanting to show their hand too early in the piece. Here's Al Hawley trying to play the ball forward into the channel for Alex Gust. It was well read by the experienced boy from Ballarat in Stefan Negro, but he's given it back to Al Hawley, who went to ground. Advantage is allowed to continue here. Al Hawley getting back up on his feet. And here's Brooks. Leighton Brooks against Bako Danikoski. Well played by the centre-back, who drifted across from his central role to apply the pressure in front of his captain, John Stoicheski. Thought he might have got the throw as well, but it's gone the way of the visitors, and it's hurled down the line by Negro. Preston just working their way up the touchline here towards the Ross Road end, the old Mobile Refinery end of the venue. There's been some upgrades along there as well, as we'll just pause there because there is a dangerous moment here for Altona having to defend this opportunity. Connor Bell, and now Brooks driven in the low cross. Way by Bako Danikoski, and just one or two heart-in-mouth moments there for the Magic for the first time this afternoon, as there's a bit of an inquest going on in the defensive line. Now it's Ilya Shalamanov-Trenkov in goal, shielding his eyes from the sun, perhaps wishing he had the baseball cap. Oh, Lucas Trenkowski at the other end of the pitch. Negro with the throw. Takes his time over the restart. This is Romero on the right, back onto the left. Brooks gets the cross in first time. It hangs in the air. Connor Bell was competing for it. Couldn't really get his feet up and off the ground, the shorter man, and Fabrizio in possession out wide. Dan Fabrizio, he scored here a couple of weeks back against the Melbourne Knights at the start of that 4-0 rout, where they really wiped the floor with the Melbourne Knights that night. Straight after Knights had parted ways with Ivan Franic, or Ivan Franic had parted ways with the Knights. So approaching the half-hour mark, there's not been a lot to write home about in front of goalmouth opportunities here so far, but it's still been plenty of play in the Preston half, as Altona trying to get themselves back on top with the momentum here. They started the game really well, started like a house on fire, really. Just lacking some poise in the final third. Anthony Frangi is the player that Preston really need to keep a close eye on. Here's Kamara. Kawaguchi. See the Preston subs warming up to our left, Altona subs warming up to our right. And the coach is trying to send a message to the players, to the starting 11s, to keep themselves on their toes in the later stages of this first half. Here's Al Hawley trying to float it in. Oars. A loose ball in the penalty area. Gust goes to ground. Frangi, he's like a predator in the penalty area, chasing any kind of possible opportunity. Alex Gust is still down. And they're the kind of moments that Preston have really got to be alert to. The ball over the top. Oh, it came off along the way. Appeals for handball by the Preston fans to our left on the hill. Mukashar. He can turn and face forward here. Bit of space for Danakoski. We held the ball a little bit too long and it came off Brooks. Stoichevsky to get us going again. Kamara. Romero was coming in to apply the pressure. The American goes to ground, holding his ankle. He's back up on his feet now. We can go around the grounds, and at Avondale, it's 1-1 between the Avengers and the Melbourne Knights. Franzi's shot goes over the top there. He has looked the most likely out of the players out there for either side so far. So in something of a shock over at Avenger Park, it was Steve Lawless opening the scoring on 30 minutes. Yusuf Ahmed levelling things up on 38 minutes. The Knights always competitive at Avenger Park, despite their current woes. Sitting in the very last place in the NPL Victoria table. Plenty of work to do in the next 10 weeks for the Melbourne Knights to keep their top flight status. And as we say that, Avondale have scored again just on the stroke of half-time. So at Avenger Park, it's Avondale coming from a goal down to now lead 2-1. That match just going into the half-time break. Still got the best part of 15 minutes to go here before the players disappear down the tunnel. Hope you're enjoying this one. Saturday afternoon football on the NPL Victoria live stream. It's the second big Macedonian derby of the season. Altona Magic and the Preston Lions as Fabrizio in possession. Gives it away to Kubalay. Players close to the ball. It's not quite like a roving maul of players kicking each other and closing each other's space down like under eights, but it is pretty compressed out there when players are getting the ball, particularly in some of these wide areas against the touchline. Hopefully the expanses will become more prevalent. Here's one of the bigger pitches, one of the wider pitches here at Paisley Park in the competition. Maybe not quite as big as the playing surface at Jenna Steele Stadium, which is one with plenty of width, good for ball-playing teams. That's a good header by Olmawewe. Real proper defensive header in front of the Altona fans gathered under the veranda there on the far side. Definitely the biggest crowd I've seen here for some years at Paisley Park, and must be a couple of thousand that have come through the gates this afternoon. And hats off to everyone who's put in some great work in pulling off a great occasion this afternoon, the second big Macedonian derby of the season, and having to rearrange the fixture time as well to avoid a clash with the A-League men's grand final tonight, bringing this match forward 3 hours. A lot of logistics required to put this game together. We've got extra car parking, so there has been improvements if you are wondering that there is now car parking behind the goal at the right of screen, the southern end, down there on Ross Road, which has had a nice little upgrade as well. You can park behind the goals there. You can hop on your bike and ride all the way into Newport along that path there now, along the railway line. So plenty of upgrades still coming, and plenty of upgrades still to come here at Paisley Park, we hear. Markowski, the former magician, bringing the ball down for Romero, shielding it well. Negro. Lawton making the run. It's a reasonable first touch, but it was collected by Danakoski, who's gone to ground, and so's Lawton. Danakoski looks the worst of the two. Fancy will see the Altona trainer called out here for Dejan Danakoski. He's holding his right knee, so fingers crossed this is nothing too serious here, as we're going to see a pause in play here at Paisley Park. It was Lawton bringing the ball down. Brandon Lord back up on his feet. Danikowski's back up on his feet as well, so hopefully there's no serious damage to the knees. Keen to keep playing on here, and there's been no medical assistance called onto the field. I'll wait until the halftime break to have that properly assessed, which will be in about 10 minutes. There shouldn't be too much added time in this clash because there hasn't been a lot of major events taking place. Forward by Stoichevski. Plenty of special gala events before the game. It's been a match that's lacked a lot of spark and cutting edge in the final third. Olamawewe. Romero trying to close him down. Romero sitting at the front of the Preston Lions press. Romero, the nominal number 10, attacking midfielder. Well played by Lawton. Little 1-2 with Romero. Bell trying to get in behind. Kawaguchi needs to be on his toes here. Oh, it's well played by the Japanese right back. He gets it out of play. Chance perhaps for the long throw. Valenti coming forward to take. Adrian Valenti in the long sleeves gets the ball back into play. Romero trying to skip over the challenge from Fabrizio. The two number 17s going toe-to-toe there in the far side of the venue, far side of the pitch. Mukashaw's going to send the ball long. Trajakowski's favoured by that one, and he plays it forward. Connor Bell receiving here from Lawton. Valenti has stayed forward. Kawaguchi, another defensive action required from him. It's a slow burn, but we hope you're enjoying this contest wherever you're tuning in. If you're somewhere around Melbourne or regional Victoria, interstate, overseas, perhaps over enjoying this one in Macedonia itself, as Connor Bell's going to get Preston's first attempt on goal and force the first genuine save out of Shalamanov Drenkov, who was able to handle it easy. It was straight in the middle of the goal, and the tall goalkeeper was quick to get himself horizontal and get that ball into the palms. Lawton, he's busier and busier as this game has gone on. Brandon Lawton, 25 years of age now, plenty of experience at this level. And he said last week that after the game against Dandy City, it's the most I've run all year. He said, I thought I was misquoting him, saying he's most he's run in his life. Maybe that was what he meant, but most he's run all year as he covered every blade of grass last week at Geneseo Stadium in that really high-intensity game against Dandenong City. Two teams competing for those spaces in the top six. And it's the Preston side who've had themselves fairly firmly entrenched in the top six this season so far. Stoichevski's come in hard here on Brooks, and the yellow card's going to be out of the pocket. Jonas Markowski has taken exception to it as well, so the former teammates going to toe-to-toe right in front of the technical area here at Paisley Park. Max Halen is in quickly to defuse the situation. Good refereeing by the young man. Johnny Stoichevski going right through Leighton Brooks. Jonas Markowski eventually cooling his jets and making a move away, but there was no need for him to be charging in. But that's the feel that's out there between these two sets of players. And Stoichevski goes into the book, and there will be the yellow card for Jonas Markowski as he's called over here for a little chat with Max Hanlon. Might just be a talking to here. In fact, it is a yellow card for both parties there. So the other one going into the book is Saad Mukashar, who that's his fifth yellow of the season, which would mean that he would miss the match against Dandenong Thunder down at George Andrews next Saturday night. That's a big blow as well, so they should get Bilal Habib back for that one, but Saad Mukashar has been an ever-present force in the centre of midfield for the Magic this season. And they are big shoes to fill. It's picking up a 5th yellow card of the season this afternoon. Negro. Mukashar. Negro wins it back. Oh, it's a real scrap for the football late in the first half. Mukashar goes to ground, holding the left ankle. He certainly felt that challenge. A bit of a stinger as he goes down inside the last 5 minutes of the first half. Thanks for your company on the NPL Victoria live stream. The game that's a little bit of a slow burn, but building up to be an exciting second half, you fancy, with a lot at stake. Altona going for a 4th straight win in NPL Victoria. They've really turned their season around, scoring 9 of their 14 goals in the last 4 games. Frangi plays it into the box. Oh, putting his head in front of it there was Trajkowski. Just from our angle here, it looked like it could have been about to wrong foot Trenkowski. Some decent combinations by Preston as they try to play it on the right-hand side, but eventually it's going to be picked up here by Mukashar. Looking for his sidekick, Al Hawley. Going to ground off the ball was Markowski, he's getting frustrated out there. Markowski preferred to Giorgio Sardenis, and no doubt wanting to make his mark this afternoon against his former club. He won the Golden Boot 2 years ago in NPL Victoria. Here's Connor Bell, a little bit of space for him perhaps. Kamara back to close him down, and Kawaguchi. Oh, over the top, at the back post is Brooks. Oh, and it's away by Olmawewe. Well, Romero had found acres of space in the penalty area. He thought he might have pulled the trigger himself. Romero playing it over the top to Brooks. We've got a couple of players down in the 6-yard box. And one of them is Jonas Markowski, as well as Taufik Olmawewe. So a bit of drama there. Oh, just bounced up in front of Jason Romero, who's, as we said, he's a player who's known for pulling the trigger. He decided to go for the unselfish option, and he floated it over the top of the goal mouth. Leighton Brooks at the back post, and a threatening moment for Preston comes to nothing in the end. Chance here for a unplanned drinks break and a bit of a tactical reflection on what we've seen so far in the first 45 from the coaching staff. Uyaseski with plenty to say to his players here. The players grateful for a little bit of a water break in the shadows of half-time. It's around 15 degrees, just hovering on 15 degrees here in Altona North this afternoon, but it will feel warm running around in the sun for these players who do train in the cool of the evening, out of the direct sunlight. But spectators here really enjoying the warm sunshine. The last day of autumn as Markowski's back up on his feet, and he's just hobbled over the byline and out of play as he's going to make his way back around to the halfway line before he comes back onto the field. That's confirmation of that halftime score over at Avenger Park. It is Avondale leading 2-1 against the Melbourne Knights. That was a big result in the league last night at the top of the table as well, with Heidelberg held 2-2 by St Albans. St Albans, the team that seems to somehow pop up and get results when you least suspect them to. Baku Danikoski sends it long. He went to ground, losing his footing as he did so. Anthony Frangi fighting and scrapping for the ball. Alex Gust. Oh, Frangi and Al Hawley might have gotten each other's way there. Kamara's going to try and, well, he's put that one into the golf course there as Kamara. So had space and time for the shot. He was a fair way out. Salu Kamara looking for his first goal still in Altona Magic colours since arriving from Metro Stars in South Australia in the off-season, but he won't find his first goal in NPL Victoria with attempts like that one, as he didn't look well balanced for the shot. Consequently, ending up in the Altona Lakes golf course as Trenkoski is going to send this one long over the halfway line. Mukashar sends it up in the air. Kubelay's header forward. Bakadanakoski looks like he's recovered fully from that strain he suffered to his knee earlier, about 10 minutes ago. Mukashar is going to win the free kick here. Frustrating first half for Mukashar. He's had plenty of the ball, but unable to really conjure up anything special for the trio of attackers in front of him. You wonder if we might see the likes of Connor O'Keefe, the Scotsman, who started last week for Altona Magic on the left wing. Just another option. There's maybe just lacking a little bit in the final third without Bilal Habib out there as well, out suspended today. It's going to be Stoicheski for the set piece opportunity. It's away by Bozanowski. Preston unable to build a counter, and here's Kamara. He's definitely enjoying himself playing out there in defensive midfield this afternoon. And Bakadanakoski thought he turned into Zinedine Zidane in the centre of the park there, as he's going to run back into central defence after losing the ball. Al Hawley. Left the pass almost a bit short there for Olomawewe, but he's able to mop up and send it up the field to Dan Fabrizio, and now it's a good combination with Kawaguchi. This is better from the Magic. Kawaguchi, but again, good defending from Lawton getting back, who's covering every bit as much territory as he covered last week in the Friday night clash with Dandenong City. Mukashar, that low centre of gravity as he looks to pivot one way, then the other. Kamara. Frangi, we've seen him operate well in these sorts of spaces, and it's just wide from Al Hawley. Oh, wow, what a moment for Altona in the shadows of halftime. A moment of inspiration from Anthony Frangi, and Mohammed Al Hawley thought he might have opened the scoring there. Just squirmed past the post. Lucas Trenkoski breathed a sigh of relief. Preston defence, it's been watertight so far this afternoon, but it was breached there. But for the shot going wide from Mohammed Al Hawley, looking for his second league goal of the season. Be a very special occasion to get yourself on the score sheet in this big Macedonian derby, the second of the season. There wasn't much between them last time they met, just a solitary goal from Leighton Brooks, and there's been nothing between them this afternoon. Altona starting the better of the two, and Preston getting themselves back into the swing of things in the second part of that first half. And Max Hanlon has sounded the whistle for half-time. Very even first 45. Neither side able to mount a genuine challenge. Anthony Frangi has been a handful at times for the Preston defence. And Preston trying to create things in the wide areas. Leighton Brooks has been an ever-present threat. Connor Bell on the far side. Jonas Markowski letting the line has been a frustrated figure, not really able to get himself into the game as much as he'd like. Jason Romero as well, characteristically trying his luck from long. Of the competition on the last day of autumn. Steve Curtin with you. We'll be back after this short break. Oops. Welcome back to the second 45 at Paisley Park. It is 0-0 between these sides in this big Macedonian derby this afternoon, coming to you from Altona North, NPL Victoria. Saturday afternoon football. Really good chance late in that first half. Fell to Mohammed Al-Hawli. It was manufactured by Anthony Frangi. A little bit of magic on the edge of the penalty area for Altona, unable to convert. And neither side has made a change in the first 45. There's a few players out there on yellow cards, and we might see the coaches to change things up as Alex Gus goes to ground looking for the free kick from referee Max Hanlon. It's in a useful position here for the Magic. Lucas Trankowski looking into the sun in this second 45. The baseball cap's going to come in very handy as he arranges his wall here. In fact, it might just be the solitary one man, the 10-yard mark behind the ball here. Looks like it's Fabrizio taking up the offside position to throw off the defence. The ball's in by Al-Hawli, and it's a wasteful effort, really, as it's straight onto the chest of Lucas Trankowski, who sends Preston straight into attack. Kamara's back to mop up. End-to-end stuff here. Early in the second half, it was a real slow burn in the first 45. Here's Gust. The two number 15s going at it. Al-Hawli gets to the byline, gets in the cross on the left foot. Was well away by that Preston defence in the shape of Jake Trankowski. Altona certainly started this encounter the better of the two sides, and they're trying to start this second half off on the front foot as well. Kawaguchi over the head of Lawton. Fabrizio now. Frangi dropping deep, picking up the ball. Play on's the call from referee, so going to continue here. Gust, who's pulled inside. Al-Hawli, a bit of an adventure here. Snapshot on the left foot. A little bit of pace on it, and it was an awkward height for Trankowski, who had to get down and pick it up on the half volley. So Altona, as they were in the first half, quick out the blocks. Preston trying to get themselves up the park now. Willed on by these Preston supporters on the hill to our left here. It's going to be Valenti with the throw. So Preston with that slight breeze behind their back as they attack the Altona Lakes Golf Course end of the venue, the left of your screen at home. It's a touch for Markowski. Romero now. Space for Romero. Was he fouled there? You fancy he was. Fabrizio coming through the back of him. The American, not for the first time, feeling that left ankle as he rides around in pain on the turf. So the set-piece opportunity falling the way of Preston. It's been a game of moments so far, and it's going to be a matter of who can step up and seize the opportunity when it arrives. This could be crucial opportunity for Preston. They scored their goal last week, their solitary goal, from not a completely dissimilar position to this. An advanced position on the left flank. That one a little bit further, closer towards the byline. So it's all about the quality of the delivery here from Romero as he puts it onto the penalty spot. Norman Wearway was there to try and nod it away, and it came back off of Preston heading out of play. It was Jake Trankowski, the central defender, getting forward, trying to put some pressure on the Altona defensive setup there at the set piece. Still chasing his first goal of the season is the central defender. He's going to pick up the loose ball here, playing it forward quickly. Well read by Baka Danakoski. Jonas Markowski was returning from the offside position. Play's going to go on here. Frangie slipping it through for Al Hawley. Let it run a little bit behind him. Far side is Fabrizio. His cross was straight to no one in particular except for Stefan Negro there on the far side. Here's Brooks. He can switch it here, a long raking switch of play to pick out Connor Bell. Connor Bell running at Kawaguchi. These are the situations that Connor Bell relishes. Getting back to put the pressure on there was Fabrizio, and he's given away the foul again here as Dan Fabrizio puts his hands on his head in disgust at the decision, but it's going to be a free kick in a really handy position here for the Lions. Romero fancying it already. A long, long time since these teams met in a top flight fixture at this venue. It was all one-way traffic last time in the way of the Magic. 2 goals for Michael Kasija and 2 goals for Carl Recchia, but can the Lions get themselves on the board first here in 2025? Shalamanov Trenkov organising the wall. There's 4 in it. Romero and Brooks standing over it. Good position for either player. It will be Leighton Brooks here, driven into the wall. Wall doing its job there. Ricochet's back to the taker, and Brooks tries to get to the byline. On the way, capable of seeing it out over the byline. So another bit of pressure here for this Altona Magic defence as they try and defend this corner from Connor Bell as he wanders over to take. The Preston fans behind the corner post here, urging on the boys in white this afternoon. Taken short to Romero. He's got 2 Magic defenders to beat here. It's Frangie getting back doing the defensive duty, and he concedes the corner. Appealing for a goal kick. That would have been an ambitious call. So sustained pressure here on Magic defence. Preston fans gathered at this end of the venue trying to will the ball into the goal. Plenty of travelling support here today. It's good to see fans travelling to the away venues and having some proper away days in NPL Victoria. As we await the taking of the corner from Romero. It's driven in, Shalamanov Trenkov. Oh, he's collided with the upright as he tips that one over, and it needed the touch too. It would have been going all the way in from Jason Romero. Doesn't mind trying his luck from anywhere, including the quadrant of the corner off the pitch. So everyone back in defence except for Dan Fabrizio here for the Magic. It comes in again, and it's going to be cleared off the line. In fact, it's been given, has it? No, it's a foul. It's been given as a foul. And Shalamanov Trenkov, who was put under the pump, those in-swinging corners twice in a row, can breathe a sigh of relief. Filled right into the goal mouth there. Well, they're the kind of moments that could separate these teams today. The foul going against Preston there. Preston having a really good 5 minutes, and here they go again through Markowski. Oh, that's an ordinary touch, and it's out of play. Giorgio Sardenis biding his time on the sidelines. I wonder if that sub might happen soon. Here's Fabrizio. Kawaguchi. Space for Mukasha, a little outside of the foot dink. Hawley was the target, but it's almost out of play in the end. the grounds over at Avenger Park. It's now a 4-1 lead to the Avengers. They trailed till a Steve Lawless goal on 30 minutes. 2 goals for Yusuf Ahmed and singles for Dan Edwards and Manny Agwek. See the Avengers back in full swing, and that will be a poignant scoreline given that, as we said, Heidelberg were held by St Albans last night. 2-2 out at Olympic Village. Here's Markowski. Trying to get himself into the game. Kawaguchi knocks it out of play, and it's come off the Preston player last. Kawaguchi's head up. Kubalay. Bit of space here for Connor Bell. Running at Kawaguchi again. Supply the cross. They're lining up at the back post. Markowski and Brooks were there, and it's going to be a Preston corner. Really good moment for Preston there, down the left-hand side. It's a tantalising ball across the 6-yard box from Connor Bell. So a big high rainmaker on the far side. Franchi trying to bring it down. Right in front of the players' race there as Gus plays it forward. Altona will be keen to get the ball into the Preston final third. They've been stuck in their own defensive setup for the last 10 minutes or so, defending set piece after set piece. And here's Connor Bell. Ball in the wear-way, read it best. He's out off Connor Bell last, so it's going to be a throw going the way of the Magic. It's almost an hour gone here at Paisley Park. We're locked at 0-0. Steve Curtin with you in the NPL Victoria live stream. Thank you for your company. And we've got a special guest joining us up here in the gantry for the last 30 minutes of this one. It's good afternoon, Josh Parrish.
Thanks for having me, Steve. Great to be here on a sensational occasion. And I think this game is about to explode to life from the looks of things.
Well, anything could happen as this game continues to develop. It's been a fantastic celebration of Macedonian culture and football here in Melbourne's West this afternoon, and it's a game that just needs a goal, and we had to wait a little while last time when the sides met. It was Leighton Brooks on 41 minutes. We've had to wait a little longer this afternoon, but you sense that goal is brewing that will give one of these sides the chance to try and climb themselves further up the table. Of course, Preston will go up to 5th if they can get the points jumping over Hume City today. Altona won't be able to go up, but they'll get closer to Green Gully, who sit just one place above them in 8th place. Green Gully not getting any points last night, and Preston on the attack here. Here's Gust. Receiving from Mukashar, running at Negro. Alex Gust enjoying that license to play further afield, further up the park than his usual left-back role. Here's Stoichevsky, the man who's filling those boots at left-back this afternoon. It's out of play by Kubalay. Good defensive effort from him. Josh, you were there last time these sides met earlier in the season in the reverse fixture at BT Connor. How does the atmosphere compare this afternoon?
Oh, well, it's a great turnout here. I mean, the car parks are full, stands are packed. Obviously, Janice Steele Stadium, slightly higher capacity, but it's a cracking atmosphere here, and if we get a goal, you'll hear all about it. It's been a very flat first half performance from Preston, but you do feel they've changed gears a little bit in the second.
Good bit of space here for Kawaguchi. Connor Bell across to apply the pressure. Good harassing by the Preston winger, but he's adjudged to have given away a foul here, and well, he's not too happy with the decision as he protests his innocence.
Got to be careful with that, Kawaguchi. It's a player penalised in the Dandenong Derby for grabbing the ball while it was on the ground, just assuming the free kick would come.
Haven't seen one of those for a while. Now, Josh, you'll be impressed. There's been some upgrades that have taken place here at Paisley Park. We've had some asphalt laid behind the venue here on Ross Road down there between the venue and the train lines to the right of your pitch. You can see extra car parking capacity opened up there. So certainly some good upgrades on and off the pitch this season in NPL Victoria, including here at Paisley Park. And we're going to have side Mukashar delivering this free kick here as Preston players shielding their eyes from the sun in the penalty area. They've set up a defensive line just near the penalty spot. 2 in the wall here for Trenkoski. It's in by Mukashar. Oh, at the back post was back at Danikoski. Oh, what a moment that would have been for the big central defender.
He got free, just peeled off his marker. Back at Danikoski, just couldn't set his feet. I don't think he was quite expecting that ball to break through the gap. It's a good chance for Altona.
Good delivery from side Mukashar. Player who picked up his 5th yellow card of the season in the first half. Miss out on the trip to George Andrews next week. Good touch by Jonas Markowski, and he volleys the ball through to Leighton Brooks. Fancy football from Preston, easy on the eye, and they win the corner kick.
Exactly what Preston need to do. Try and get Markowski more involved. He's been a peripheral figure in this game, but he does have the technique to be able to create as well as score goals. Preston have lacked a consistent focal point up front this season with a raft of different injury issues, including Markowski, who had 2 separate injuries already this season. He did his hamstring. He's had an infected toe that kept him out for a couple of weeks.
Sounds nasty. That's Valenti to deliver the in-swinger here. He's a good purchase on it to the back posts. The header coming back across the goal was from Jake Trajkowski, but it was straight into the waiting palms of Ilya Shalamanov-Trenkov, who sends that one to his opposite number, Trenkoski, out of his area. Well, he's getting a bit more frantic now as he just volleys it up the park. Leighton Brooks going down off the ball. It's going to be a throw going the way of the Magic. Still, neither side calling to their substitutes bench. Some of the likely replacements out there for Goran Lozanowski, Connor O'Keefe, Gavin Taseski, Julian Rodriguez, George Sitsinaris, the youngster Jared Bozanov. While for Louis Yaseski, Giorgio Sardena should see some action at some point. He's got defensive cover in the shape of Aaron Anderson, also Marcus Schroen to come into midfield. John Albano to provide some width and some experience as well, and the youngster Sammy Dibb getting his chance in the matchday squad today as well. Here's Gust, opening up for him here too. Frangi is moving down the left-hand channel, running at Bozanowski. Anthony Frangi, well marshalled by those Preston Central defensive duo there. Again, Trajkowski and Bozanowski, and it's out of play. Sammy Dibb, is he a player you know a bit about, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, you look at him and he looks like he should be in the under-15 squad. He's tiny, but he's absolutely magic on the ball. So, still very young, of course. Has come through the Western United youth ranks and dazzled, actually, away at Preston last season in VPL 1 when he came on for a 10-minute cameo. I suspect that's influenced the Preston coaching staff, but he's a twinkle-toed winger.
Fans here would be looking forward to seeing some of that magic in the latter stages of the game as both sets of substitutes warming up. Preston subs warming up in front of the away crowd to our left, and the Altona subs warming up to our right down at the train line end of the venue. It's the experienced figure of Johnny Stoicheski to take the throw here. As we said, he's the only surviving player really from their last meeting at this venue back in 2017. And the other one who's been relevant to this figure as well as Andrea Roxandic, but I don't think we'll be seeing him lining up anytime soon as far as the Preston team is concerned, as Frangi has smacked that one into the supporters gathered on the hill. Bit of a reflex test for those spectators there. They've managed to survive it.
You mentioned Andrea Rock-Sandich has decided to depart the club and go back and play State League for Westgate, I believe, which is the team he was playing for before he signed for Preston all the way back in 2017. But he's got a baby on the way and just couldn't commit to the training schedule required to play top flight NPL, so he departs with the club's blessing.
It's forward by Kublai, but Markoski is there, and he's got acres of space as well. Markoski tries to come and close him down. Just flew highest against Kublai, the two men of shorter stature competing in the centre of the park for the aerial duel. And here's Kamara. Out wide is Stoichevsky. We haven't seen him get forward yet today, and he floats in the cross. Frangi was there, and it's well away again, once again, that time by Jake Trojkowski in the right place to put the Altona attack to an abrupt halt. And now it's Brooks on the counter here. They've got numbers forward as well, Preston. They've conceded possession. Brooks's cross, it just hung in the air a little bit too long. Connor Bell, one of those figures lurking at the back post. Just thinks he might have won the free. Play on's the call. Romero might try his luck from here. Jason Romero hits the upright, and on the rebound, it's who else but it's Jonas Markoski. It just had to be him. It just had to be Jonas Markoski, and it all happened, the attempt from Romero, and Jonas Markoski gets the start against his former side. The side that he's propelled to NPL Victoria Finals football with 19 league goals 2 seasons ago, and it's a happy return to Paisley Park for Jonas Markoski.
Lujatsevski in the dugout rolling back the years with that save. Jonas jumping straight into his arms, and you can see what it means for him to be given the start today, given the opportunity, and had the faith of the coaching staff, and he's delivered. It was a scrappy finish, but it doesn't matter as far as Preston are concerned. Romero always offering that threat from distance this season. He scored a couple of belters from outside the box. That off his weaker left boot is a magnificent strike, desperately unlucky as it comes off the inside of the post, but Jonas Markoski is Johnny on the spot. Preston have, I would say, a deserved lead based on how they've played in this second half.
Good value for that goal. The Altona defence, they've been solid this afternoon, but just backing off and allowing Romero too much space there. Even on his weaker foot, he was able to close within a good shooting distance. Mukashar's gone down here. Might be advantage, though. Al Hawley's going to get the ball in. Could there be an instant reply here for the Magic? Alex Guster's going to round up this loose ball. Mukashar still down on the turf. Fabrizio wants to play on, gets it out of his feet, but he's shown it to Oliver Kublai. Tenacious defensive midfielder. Here he is again. And Saad Mukashar is still down. Preston's going to keep coming forward. It's a one-on-one duel. Kawaguchi and Bell, and Shalamanov Trenkov out to provide the Japanese right back with some assistance. So we're going to have a break in play here. Saad Mukashar still down, and the trainer is out for the Preston, the Altona Magic central midfielder.
This game's getting very stretched and very physical now. In the first half, Altona had Preston hemmed in with their high press. Preston could barely get out of their own half, but you can't keep that up for 90 minutes. And now there's a different dynamic where Altona have more space on the break, but when they turn the ball over, Preston have so much more space to attack with their pacey wingers. Brooks getting a lot of ball down that right-hand side. And if Preston score a second, that could be game over.
1-0 it was last time they met. 1-0 it is here again in the favour of Preston. 67th minute strike by Jonas Markoski in the right place at the right time to tap home the rebound off Jason Romero's left-footed attempt off the upright. Didn't he enjoy that goal? That's what separates them at the moment. Saad Mukashar back up on his feet. He's having a bit to say to the assistant referee there, and also the fourth official, James Langloya. You fancy that the decision was an advantage call going the way of Altona nonetheless anyway, as they continue to attack after he was brought to his knees by the challenge.
And Max Hanlon's given the advantage signal quite clearly. I think Altona would have been blowing up if Max Hanlon had blown up.
Back to Danakoski's header. Kublai winning the next ball. Flicked on elegantly by Brooks out wide, and Markoski, who's got a full head of steam up there, And again, Max Hanlon does blow up this time, and well, Jonas Markowski not impressed.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other for mine, but the referee had a much better view whether Markowski was holding Danikowski there.
He dusts himself off and sends the ball up the line towards Frangie. It was a good defensive header by Trajkowski, who's been really good this afternoon in the centre of that Preston Lions back four, and they're looking like they might be able to claim themselves a clean sheet this afternoon, this Preston Lion defence, unless Altona can conjure up something here in the last 20 minutes. This big Macedonian derby, the second instalment of this fixture this season. These two clubs reacquainting themselves in the top flight of Victorian football in 2025, and hasn't it been a great occasion this afternoon? It's going to be opportunity here for the Magic to send the tall timber forward from the corner kick.
They've got to look to Olamawewe here. He's the most dominant aerial presence they have, and it's tough to stop when he's running full pelt at goal.
Well, it's Olamawewe and Danikowski. One goes one way, one goes the other. It's palmed away by Trajkowski. Got some good distance on it despite not using the fist. Fabrizio in space. Probably could have put the ball into the box early. Mukashar does just that. Danikowski is still there. Bit of head tennis on the edge of the 6-yard box. Johnny Stoicheski getting forward as Alex Gus stays back to provide the cover. Connor Bell is threatening here though. Oh, it's going to bounce away from the fleet-footed winger.
Gamble by Shalamanov Trenkov there to back off and not come out to the edge of his box, maybe try and head it away. Gamble pays off. It's a clear foul against Romero. Kamara's really impressed me as the season's worn on. He wasn't too impactful the first few rounds, but he's really finding his feet.
Getting the chance to step into central midfield with that suspension to Bilal Habib, and most of it. A slight reshuffle for the Altona Magic midfielders here as there's a bit of space for Connor Bell. The flag's up.
Cracking
Finished
finish
it with a plum as well.
Altona players had stopped already, but still good to get the shooting practice in.
There wasn't too much in it, you fancy, as well. Marginally offside was Connor Bell.
Probably has just drifted the wrong side, unless Johnny
Stoicheski was playing him on, perhaps.
Would have been tight, but the assistant's got Stoicheski right in front of him, so he should be able to judge that pretty easily.
Connor Bell looking for what would be his fourth of the season in all competitions. Kamara up the line, he's got Frangie. And again, well played Trajkowski to deny the opportunity for Frangie. And here's Kamara, he's played that one straight out of play. And he incurs the jeers from the Preston fans to our left. Altona needs to step it up a gear as time starts to tick away as we head towards the last 15 minutes at Paisley Park. We see some action off the bench pretty imminently. We can see Connor O'Keefe looks like he's going through his final warm-ups. It's been another option to play as a attacking option. The Scotsman on the left wing, the starting 11 a few times this season. There's a turnover here, and Stoicheski can try and build something. Alex Gust. Again, the intensity without the ball for Preston has really stepped up a notch. Olamawewe's header. It's Jonas Markowski. Was he fouled there? This could be big trouble here for Olamawewe. And it is big trouble indeed. He's sent off. It's a professional foul on the edge of the penalty area by Tafiq Olamawewe. Max Hanlon left with no choice there. Just allowed that ball to bounce. And then Jonas Markowski nipping in behind. And Jonas Markowski, after having an awfully quiet game, He's decided the two biggest moments of the match so far now.
That's a rare error from Olamawewe. He's been one of the best defenders in the competition so far this season, but that was ill-judged. He needed to get that ball away first time, and as soon as he let it run, he was in deep, deep trouble.
As soon as that ball hit the deck, you could see that his heart sank as he opened up a clear goal-scoring opportunity for Jonas Markowski. He instinctively closed down, and he makes the long walk over to the tunnel for an early shower. His afternoon is done, and it's going to be a free kick resulting from this opportunity from the edge of the penalty area.
What about the off-the-ball work of Markowski in this second half? Just instinctive, waiting on the blind side of defenders. He's been excellent.
Well, this could be a bit of a spanner in the works for the planned sub for Goran Lozanowski as he sits down shaking his head. Connor O'Keefe stripped and ready to come on. And he's now got a problem where he's a central defender short as well, so...
Most likely it would be Stoichevski to deputise. He did earlier this season.
They can bring Alex Gus back into left back, so they have got some players that can shuttle around the park into different roles, but it's going to be a matter of denying the opportunity here. It's Brooks and Romero. It's going to be Romero under the wall. There was no draft excluded there, but the tall figure of Ilya Shalamanov-Trenkov was equal to the opportunity. It didn't have a lot of pace on it, to be fair. He's frustrated as he looks for an outlet here. He's got one less player in red and black to try and propel the ball upfield to now as well. A goal down and now a man down. So the odds are stacked against the home side here, the Altona Magic, as they look to get something out of this game. And their winning streak could be coming to an end. That's a bad foul in the centre of the park by Kamara, who lets out a bit of frustration as well. Had been the better side in the early exchanges of this contest, but since half-time, it's really swung the other way. It's going to be the opportunity now for Connor O'Keefe to come on. Wait to see who the player who's being sacrificed. As it looks like it's going to be Saad Mukashar. So a central midfielder for a left midfielder or a left winger.
What's the exact shuffle that you mentioned, Steve? Gus to left back, Stoichevski centre back, and Connor O'Keefe to play on the wing. So an attacking change. Altona really have no choice at this point but to go for the game, and Stoichevski covering it in central defence is probably the best option in that regard.
3 wins on the bounce and unbeaten in 4. You fancy the way it's going that looking likely to lose that unbeaten streak here, but maybe Dan Fabrizio's got some other ideas. Connor Bell tracking all the way back to close him down. Kamara's touch was a little bit heavy, but he's going to fight for the ball anyway. Fabrizio ricocheted off Kubalay, but Kubalay good enough to win the ball back and release Jason Romero. Brooks is making the run on the far side, and the flag is down here for Leighton Brooks to fire home a second of the afternoon for Preston. What a great move. It started from the left back position down the right flank. And really good through ball to release Leighton Brooks. And as he did last time in this fixture, he scores against Altona again, clearly onside. Shalamanov-Trenkov out to close down the opportunity, and he just dinked it over the top, and it nestled in the back of the net, and that's the Preston Lions. 2 goals to the good, and a man good as well. Look like they're going to shore up their spot in the top 6 and move into 5th place tonight on the NPL Victoria table.
Again, Jason Romero heavily involved. The weight on that pass is just magnificent.
It's a joy to watch.
And he's really come into form in the last month or two. And Leighton Brooks recapturing some of his early season form. He scored against Altona last time out, I believe, and he's done it again. Very calmly finished over the on-rushing goalkeeper, reminiscent of his goal in round 2 against Dandenong City.
Makes it 6 for the season for Leighton Brooks, so he started the season like a house on fire, and he's continuing on nicely as well into the latter stages of the season. The darker months of winter, which will commence tomorrow. It's been a sunny afternoon for Preston Lions, though, here in this Macedonian derby at Paisley Park in Altona North. There's not long to go before they can celebrate what would be doing the double over their Macedonian rivals this season in NPL Victoria. They've been separated for so long. They haven't played each other in the league since 2017. They haven't played in a top flight together since 2009. And it's great to have these two proud clubs going toe-to-toe again. The second half has really sprung to life. Here's a bit of space for the substitute, Connor O'Keefe. He can surge into the penalty area here, the Scotsman. And he's got a bit of space here for Kamara, back onto his left. Tries the curler. Oh, he just took the pace off the opportunity there. Really needs to go at it on his right peg, you fancy. Chalamanov, Trenkovsky was easily equal to the opportunity.
Triple change being prepared by Preston Anderson to come on. So too Sir Dennis and Schroen.
Trenkovsky kicking this ball in just about on the byline. It's out of play in the end, and we might see those changes now. Well, Louis says he doesn't mind making the triple change from time to time, and he's like what's going to happen here as Seth and Igor are coming over for a little bit of a chat to the trainer. So Giorgio Sardenis is on for Jonas Markowski, who's going to get a pretty good ovation here because he's entered, should I say, he's left the field at the byline to the left of your screen, and he's going to have to make his way past the Preston away fans to get back to the bench. So a good ovation as he makes his way around. You can hear coming through our effects markers for Jonas Markowski, the man who scored that important go-ahead goal this afternoon. 67 minutes after Jason Romero's effort came back off the post, and Romero again instrumental to the second goal for Preston from Leighton Brooks as well, with the through pass to set up Preston Lions right winger. Kawaguchi's throw, done by Franchi. He's still got a bit of fight in him yet, perhaps, as Anthony Franchi, this wily attacker, floats it into the box. O'Keefe was there, but there was plenty of players back in the white shirts to clear the ball away.
So Anderson's going to play in midfield. This is not a position I've seen him deployed in before, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes as a screening midfielder. Centre back by trade, of course.
I fancy he might have even played in that role at this ground for Altona Magic a couple of seasons ago as a makeshift central defensive midfielder as well.
Always first name on the team sheet at centre-back last season for Preston in BPL 1. A ball-playing defender, so you can see how he'd slot in to that number 6 position.
He's had to bide his time today, but he should enjoy getting out there and having a run around. And here's another one of those substitutes in Marcus Schroen with the first-time switch of play. Leighton Brooks finding space again, running at Alex Gust. He's got Negro on the overlap. This is Stefan Negro floating into the back post. It's over the top of everyone in the area, and taking no chances was Dejan Bakadanakovsky. Concedes the corner kick.
Preston are such a confidence team, aren't they? They weren't putting moves like this together at all in the first half. And yes, game stayed, and the retiring players leaving more space on the counter-attack is a big reason why, but
they seem to score a lot of goals late in games as well. They did it last week against Dandenong City. It must say something about the fitness of their squad and the players that they're bringing off the bench, that they've got that ability to stretch the games out as the opposition's getting more tired.
You've got guys like Oli Kubalay who cover 12, 14 kilometres a game sometimes.
It's just such a metronome in the centre of the park, as we've seen him in previous years as well. He's picked up where he left off at Oakley and seems to really fit in well here as we await the corner here from Adrian Valenti. It's driven across the 6-yard box. Bolzanowski was lining up for it at the far posts. Connor Bell's been cleaned up here. Now, we've been talking during the broadcast today about that Preston goal last week on the Game Day app, the Sports TG. It's been credited to Jason Romero. Looking at the slow-mo, it does look like Matt Bolzanowski got the final touch. What was your thoughts being there at the ground, Josh?
I think it's a Bolzanowski goal every day of the week. He had to force it over the line. It was a tush-push on the 1-yard line, but he had to be there. We'll be bringing that up with the dubious goals panel.
It's definitely worth a Monday night hearing to go over the resulting goal scorer of that particular goal that was scored last weekend on Friday night, and it's going to be another change for Louis Oseski, hot on the heels of the triple change that he's just made moments ago. It's going to be an early mark for Connor Bell, and it's going to be a like-for-like replacement with Gian Albano down the left-hand side. So much depth and quality. Gian Albano, such an experienced campaigner at this level, the West Aussie, to be able to bring on the bench. Real luxury item for Louis Oseski, as there's 3 Preston players standing over this one. Plenty of noise and colour and atmosphere here. You can see in the background, Oski bringing in the pictures here for Sportscast Australia. It's going to be Brooks with the dipper. Oh. The laces against the valve of the football, and Shalamanov Trenkov had to dive at full stretch, the 195-centimetre goalkeeper. Altona concede another corner in the dying moments of this one. Inside the last 5 minutes.
Does have great technique when he's got time to line something up from range, Leighton Brooks.
See a lot of players try that kind of shot. Not many get it right. Corners into the back post. Going to ground was Bozanowski. Play onto the call. Kubalay floats it back in. The trajectory was a little bit too low, and Fabrizio and Frangi can combine here. O'Keefe making tracks down the right-hand side. The rest defence for Preston does its job. Valenti. Sharon is looking to play those passes quickly. The first time through ball again, this time for Albano. The fresh legs, little change of direction. You could forgive him for being a little bit stodgy, sitting on the bench all this time, but he was straight into the action, jinking one way, then the other. Danikovsky's just smashed that one up the park, but straight to Matt Bozanowski, and here's Anderson. Preston's new star, number 6 out there. Negro. There's space for Schroen. Trying to play it out to Brooks. He's got his confidence up, hasn't he, Leighton Brooks? He's had his pocket picked by Gus, though. Al Hawley. Frangi wanted it played to his feet and over his head, so the move's really breaking down now for the 10 men of the Altona Magic. It's Anthony Frangi that fashioned the best chance that Altona had this afternoon for Mohamed Al Hawley. Late in the first half, couldn't get the attempt on target though.
He was very bright in the first half, Frangi. We barely mentioned his name in the second. Just haven't involved him enough.
I wonder if he almost starts to try and do too much up there. It's plenty of pressing, harrying around, and then maybe not being in position where he needs to be. But here's Al Hawley. O'Keefe was there, and Fabrizio played it against Negro, and it's going to be a chance for Altona Magic corner, so they can take their turn at doing some of the attacking. They've been pegged back in their own half so much of this second half. Came out of the blocks in the opening minutes, out of the dressing rooms looking the better side, but it's been all Preston after about the first 5 or 10 minutes since the break. They lead this one 2-0. Comes the in-swinger, it's deep. Frangi, good first touch though from Anthony Frangi. Trying a little trickery there, running at Anderson. Kids call it an elastico or something there, a fancy from Anthony Frangi. It was pretty impressive, it almost did the job.
Some fancy footwork. No stranger to a big highlight. Anthony Frangi scored not 1 but 2 spectacular overhead kicks for Mount Druitt Town a couple of years ago.
It's good to have such a human highlights reel back in Victoria, but there's another player that's not often not shy of being in the big moments as well in Marcus Schroen. Here's Leighton Brooks out wide. He already has 1 goal. Negro in support. Just floats it in. It hangs in the air. Shalamanov Trenkov. It's easy for him to claim. Sends it long to Frangi. Valenti to apply the pressure. Frangi wins the throw. Taking it quickly as he can to Al Hawley. Couple of Preston players stripped and ready to come on. Anderson losing his footing and trying not to crush Anthony Frangi on his way down. be George Sitsinaris and Gavin Taseski. So some minutes for a couple of the younger players in the squad. A couple of 21-year-olds getting their opportunity. Leighton Brooks, he's going to try his luck on the volley. Technique was there, couldn't quite keep it down. Impressive stuff from Preston, and even more impressive had that gone in from Leighton Brooks for a second for him for this afternoon. Alex Gus trying the nutmeg there on Brooks, trying to bring Leighton Brooks back to earth.
Here we go, Sammy Dibbs going to get a run as well. So, exciting, pacey youngsters coming off the bench for both teams.
It's good to see these young players getting minutes in, albeit just a couple of minutes in such a big game and a big crowd, a couple of thousand people through the gates today here to enjoy this one. There's a few fans heading out early to beat the traffic, but it's just a testament to how many people we've got here this afternoon.
Brooks has gone off on the far side.
He's going to get a good ovation, and he is right now, from the Preston fans that are on the far side.
It's a lap of honour for Leighton Brooks now.
He's going to do a full 360 degrees, Leighton Brooks. He's had a really good afternoon, Leighton Brooks. Player high on confidence. Sitsinaris heading out onto the park as well for the Magic. Looks like Kamara's being one of the players who is sacrificed, making the long way around on the far side. There's so little time to go, he could almost just head straight out the tunnel now.
El Hawley's come off as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Both of those players making the long way around, and making the short way into the back of the net perhaps could be Albano. Oh, his shot was wide, uncharacteristically from him.
Albano has to score there. That's his bread and butter, getting through 1v1 with the goalkeeper. Usually so clinical in those situations.
Preston coming into this game with the goal difference of just one. They could have added another one to it there. Albano across the face, whistle's gone for offside. Real goal-mouth action. Alex Gus getting back to do the defensive duties, but the whistle had already gone from Max Hanlon, who's had a good afternoon overseeing this big contest in front of a big crowd in a carnival-like atmosphere this afternoon. Danikowski sends this one long. Altona fans almost deserve to be able to cheer a goal before they go home, but it doesn't look like they're going to have time to do so. Flare here from Preston on the far side. It just runs out of play in front of Stefan Negro, but he's going to be able to take the throw nonetheless.
I'm not entirely convinced that was offside, Steve. It was very, very close. Sometimes the pacey players get punished. They look offside when actually level. Difficult to tell from our broadcast angle, though.
Difficult angle. A bit like a camera set up at Casey Fields. Difficult to judge the offside calls. Here comes Preston again. They've got another goal in them before full time. Marcus Schroen. Out wide is the youngster Sammy Dibb, and the flag is up for offside again.
Quickly taken.
Taken so quickly I didn't even see the ball become stationary. Here's Fabrizio. Bit of space here for Gavin Taseski. Jinks one way and distributes it out to Sitsinaris. The two subs combined. On the overlap here is Kawaguchi. His cross was not his best effort and was easily cleared away again. That time the man who's been making umpteen clearances this afternoon is Jake Tchaikovsky. Taseski. Just couldn't see anyone in red and black there, and he's given it away to Oli Kubalay. Anderson showed too much of it to Taseski. Schroen's picked up the loose ball, and Negro's in acres of space on the far side. Sammy Dibb, held by Gust. They're almost there, Preston.
Leighton Brooks finally made his way back to the bench. That's the applause you can hear. It's a long way round.
There's more golf claps around the ground than at the US Masters here, as these Preston players are doing laps of honour in this Macedonian derby. Is there any final sting in the tail here? Fabrizio receiving from Frangie. He's got a bit of space here. Looks into the box. He's got O'Keefe and Sitsonaris in there. Frangie continues his run. He's not thrown over, has he there? Max Hanlon looking at his watch. And that's it. It's double derby delight for the Preston Lions. They make it a clean sweep against their Macedonian rivals Altona Magic in season 2025 when they reacquaint themselves in Victoria's top flight. A day that celebrated all things great about Macedonian football in Melbourne. And it's been a marvellous afternoon for the travelling Preston fans. A slow burn in the first half. Altona Magic, the better side in the early stages of this one. But after half-time, it was a masterclass from Jason Romero. He shot back off the upright, steered home by the player that just wanted to be that main character this afternoon in Jonas Markowski against his former side of a couple of years ago where he won the Golden Boot. He wasn't to be denied, tapping home from close range. And then a fine move as well, set up by Jason Romero as well, and finished with a plum by Leighton Brooks. And it was a 10-man Altona Magic where we saw the sending off of Tafiq Olmawewe for a professional foul on the edge of the area, bringing down Jonas Markowski after a slight error in judgment, which we'll see them without Olmawewe next week as well as Saad Mukashar as well, who picked up a 5th yellow card. So difficult trip to George Andrews next week. Some tough games coming up for Preston Lions as well. Josh, Heidelberg United away next week. Then South Melbourne, who, well, are they resurgent or not? We'll wait and see. And then Avondale the following week. And I think that will be followed by the Oakley Cannons as well. So a good 3 points to get this afternoon for the Preston Lions.
And that Heidelberg game is going to be huge next week. Heidelberg dropping points against St Albans on Friday night. So big night at Genesee Steel Stadium coming on Friday. But much needed 3 points for Preston.
We'll get in early and book your tickets for that one. But as we said, big games coming up for both of these clubs. And Altona, their winning streak and their unbeaten streak of 3 games, their unbeaten streak of 4 games, is now over. However, they have managed to get themselves a slice of a cultural afternoon of enlightenment, a fun afternoon for the fans that were gathered here. A big crowd of a couple of thousand people, so a bit of money into the coffers perhaps for the home side here at Paisley Park. But they will go on and take on Dandenong Thunder next week. Thank you for your company on the live stream. NPL Victoria action coming your way this afternoon in round 16 of the competition. Tomorrow afternoon you can enjoy South Melbourne and the Melbourne Victory from 5 p.m. from Lakeside Stadium. But until next time, thanks very much for your company. I've been Steve Curtin. Thanks very much for the second half, Josh Parrish. It's been a pleasure. And Oscar behind the camera, you've been fantastic as well. Thank you. And until next time from Paisley Park, it's good evening where it's Altona Magic 0, Preston Lions 2.